This is Saturday Morning Mysteries.
And we're your hosts, Alexis and Grace. Good morning, everyone. Happy Saturday morning, or whatever day of the week it is for you. This is Saturday Morning Mysteries, and we are your hosts. I'm Alexis.
I'm Grace.
And we have something very, very fun planned now. If you're familiar with this podcast, you already know that we switch from different shows to different shows. We cover them in cartoon, crime, comedy fashion, so to speak. We started with the Powerpuff Girls this year, and we're already moving on to our second show of 2023. Grace, how excited are you for this one? We're gonna say what it is in a second, but let's hype it up for another second here, because we're both very, very pumped.
I know we've been excited for every show we've done, but I'm over the moon about this one.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm
that's fair.
I might be the most excited about this one because it was new to both of us, so maybe that's why.
Yeah. I think the only other one maybe was I don't know, did you watch Rescue Rangers growing up? Because I feel like that was maybe the only other one that was new to both of us, but I feel like this is a lesser known one.
Yeah, I
but
had
also
bits and pieces of Rescue Rangers, and this is totally
this
context.
Is totally new though. Yeah, okay. So well, a lot of people are probably out there wondering, what the fuck? What show are they doing? Everyone, the show we are doing is a classic Hanna-Barbera animated mystery solving show called The Amazing Chan and the Chan Clan.
I can't even hear the name without laughing.
Just the name. I know, the name alone. So Grace found this one. She came across this one in her research for us finding shows to do.
Yep.
And she added it to the list of shows. We keep a list of all the shows that we may do one day, just for making it easy to pick in the future. And when she added stuff, I took a look at it and I saw this one and I was like, well, what the fuck is this? We have to. It was almost without even researching it, where I was like, let's talk about this one.
Well,
and Grace obviously was like, okay, hold on. 2 seconds later, yes.
Well,
you did 2 seconds of research, maybe.
What I think really put the nail in the coffin for us of deciding this one is that you looked up the intro song and you were like, well, we listened to this. Well, we have to do it now.
Yeah, the intro song is fire. I gotta say, I put it right up there with Darkwing Duck and all of and obviously the classic Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? Yeah. But it's
describe it for us really quick before I get into the actual show. Give us paint us whisper us a picture, perhaps.
Let me just preface anything that I say about this song, this trailer, or whatever, or intro music. Ever since we decided to do this show, I guess maybe it's been 2 or 3 weeks now, maybe to the date. Yeah. This song has been stuck in my head every fucking day. I have not been able to get it out of my head. Thank God I've had the opportunity to listen to it more times to write these episodes. But yeah, so essentially I would describe it. It's kind of an upbeat jazz, the basis of it. You know, you've got the horns doing a little call and response, bump, bump, bump. Ba-da-da-dum, bum, ba-da-da-da-da. It's really upbeat. It's cool, but the lyrics are very, very basic. Essentially, you have this guy just over and over saying the amazing Chan and the Chan clan, and that's a Chan plan. But he's scatting. But he's also scatting. But he's whispering while he's scatting, which Grace, you noted, that's very difficult to do.
Yes, a scat whisper.
I've tried it as it's been stuck in my head, just going for walks and stuff, trying to scat whisper, and it's very difficult. So it essentially sounds to me like a guy who was listening to an instrumental for the first time, got in the studio and was just kind of ad-libbing to get a sense.
He was trying to vibe it out before he took the real take, and they were it's perfect.
Wait, keep going. Say the amazing Chan. The amazing Chan. Say Chan plan. That's a Chan plan. Boom, done. Guys, we've got intro music. We're good. hit stop.
It like wasn't even like the actual like singer. It was like the tech person who was like setting up the recording studio, and like they were like playing the track back, and he was setting it up just like
everyone go listen to it. Just find it on YouTube, The Amazing Chan, and the Chan Clan intro music. It's great. It's a vibe though. Perfect. Like the overall, like the instrumental and everything is really good. It's the whisper scatting is a little off-putting, but then it gets stuck in your head. I'm like, oh my God, who's whispering to me? It's great.
Definitely. At first you're taken aback, and then you also think that it's gonna pick up into full volume scatting, and it doesn't.
No. It's just whisper scatting the entire time, and whisper singing. Like it's all very quiet.
I think it's because
besides the instruments,
it's a mystery show, so it's like I think it's supposed to be sneaking around, but like
you're like whispering the amazing Chan from behind the shadows.
Yeah, but like when you think of scatting, it's very loud, and so you got to figure out. Between now and our next episode, we'll look up who sang or made this song.
Wrote. I don't think there was any writing, Grace. I'm telling you, it's like a combo of our speculation. People just like walking around the studio, like
the janitor
coming along to this dope like jazz tune. Like, wow, man, this is dope.
This was like a Goodwill Hunting moment, but cartoon intro songs of like just a janitor who's actually a scat genius. He was just sweeping up in the studio one day. Just whisper scatting so he didn't disturb anyone.
You see all like the sound engineers and producers just turn around and look at him like, my God, amazing.
Genius. And he was never heard from again. Never. Was he a ghost? They don't know.
And maybe that's the first mystery in The Amazing Chan.
The ghost whisper scatter.
Yes, man.
Wow.
This show's great. So yeah, as you all can tell from the intro music alone, this show is a banger. Intro music never fails. All right. It's always a good indicator of how the show's going to go.
Yes.
So Grace, take us away.
Yes. So this show it's so fun and incredible. I'm going to spend a good amount of time introducing this show today because I had never heard of it. We had never heard of it. There's also so many fucking main characters. Yes. So it's going to be kind of a longer intro and then like a short actual recap today from me, but I think that'll help set us up for success for the rest of this arc. Cool. And as Alexis said, this is a Hanna-Barbera show. It ran for one season in 1972. That's it. In my research of, again, trying to find other mystery shows and make sure we've got a long list, I think there was like this direct response to Scooby-Doo that every other like production company had, because there are, turns out, so many like teenage mystery solving cartoons in the 70s. Like it was the cartoon, and every network tried one. They all tried to have their own Scooby-Doo. So first, this show, we're going to dive into our intro here, follows the family of a detective named Charlie Chan. And before, let me ask first, Bird, did you do any research into like the background of this show at all?
A little bit, but not go on though. Yeah. I mean, I might be able to like throw in something here and there, but I figured you would do. Go ahead though.
Mainly, I'm hoping I surprise you with this information, but I also it's fine if you looked it up. I should have texted you and been like, don't read Wikipedia.
I'll act surprised. You knew I was going to read Wikipedia. Come on. But I'll act surprised. So then no one will ever know but me.
Yes. We'll bleep this part out. It'll just be a long bleep. We're not going to cut it out. We'll just bleep it.
That'd be so
really long bleep.
But we're still here talking. We're just making the bleep longer.
Exactly.
Anyway.
So before I even get into the freaking show and all the characters, on this first character, the main character, Charlie Chan, turns out our Charlie Chan was inspired by another fictional character from novels and films who was based on a real person.
Oh, well, okay. Half of that is surprising to me.
Which half? The real person?
That the person that he's based on is based on a real person. I knew he was based on another detective named Charlie Chan.
Hell yeah.
But I didn't know Charlie Chan was based on a real person. I only read half the Wikipedia page.
Yes.
Gotcha. Surprise you.
I could depend on you to just skim. Excellent. So we're going to go all the way back to real life, to then the talkies, to then our cartoon today. So we're going all the way in the way back machine to 1871.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. When Ah Ping Chang, which is his Chinese name, but he was later known as Chang Apana, which is like the Hawaiianized version of his name. He was born in Oahu, and he's the son of, I believe, Chinese immigrants. And he was an actual detective in the Honolulu Police Department, where, starting in 1916, he worked on an opium smuggling ring, and like that was kind of his main focus, was opium smuggling and busting that, as well as illegal gambling. And there are like batshit crazy stories about him, including part of this, a little dicey. He was rounding up lepers to send them to a leper colony. We'll ignore that part of the statement.
Okay.
It was 1916, folks. We didn't know what was happening. But he got attacked with a sickle and survived. Wow. Another story in which he was trying to do a drug bust, and he was thrown out of a second-story window and landed on his feet totally fine.
He's a cat.
That's 9 lives right there. Catman. The sickle, check, the sickle. Done.
Landed
he
on
went
his
to the
feet,
lepers because he just thought they were leopards. It was confusing. So then author Earl Durr Biggers went on vacay to Hawaii in 1920, where he heard about Apana Chang and his time on the force, and like what just like a crazy person he was, or like these like crazy heroic stories. And so Biggers went on to write a character inspired by Apana into one of his novels. And it was that first novel called House Without a Key that this character inspired by Apana Chang was renamed into Charlie Chan. And in that first novel, he was like a side character, but he became so popular that he started to appear in in Biggers' other mystery novels. And that kind of like started up this so-called Charlie Chan, who in all of the books, he just also made a police detective in the Honolulu Police Department. So it was like very direct that he was like, this is based on you.
Yeah. Cool.
According to Wikipedia, and I cannot, as always, fully confirm this information. So
we are not experts.
I would say take it with like a grain, or professionals of anything. Take it with like a grain of light salt, because I'm sure there's some truth to it, some not as much as we would expect. But that's all to say that apparently in the novels, Charlie Chan was a character who was like in direct contrast to like Chinese and other Asian stereotypes in America at the time, which like was pretty cool because it was like the early 1920s, late 1910s, and like America, I mean, not that it's any better, but like was more aggressively racist, I guess. I mean, again, what has changed? But anyways, like it's cool that he made this character like a direct contrast to that, and like was trying to break stereotypes. And so novel Charlie Chan got so popular that in 1926, films started coming out that featured Charlie Chan. I think the film portrayals were maybe a little less stereotype breaking than the novels were. He may have also been played by a white guy in the movies. Unclear. So 1926 Hollywood. But the actual detective, Apana Chang, actually met one of the actors who was betraying him. So like it was cool. Like Biggers acknowledged that Apana Chang was the inspiration. He actually like got to like be at least somewhat involved in it. And like that just seems cool. It wasn't like years after he died.
Respectful
they just like
in a way.
Right. They just like stole his life or something. It was like, oh hey, you're pretty badass. I'm gonna base a character on you. Come on down.
Boom.
So yeah.
Come
so
check it out. Real Hollywood set. Come see it. Oh God, watch out for that falling lamp.
Oh wait, but he's a cat. He just dodged it, baby.
He's got like 7 lives left. He's good.
Yeah, he's good. He's good. So fast forward to 1972 to the Hanna-Barbera writing room, where I'm sure they're stressed out. Scooby-Doo's a big hit. What do they follow it up with? What do they do now?
We need ideas, people. We need ideas.
Ideas. I'm sure some writer in the room just finished reading some of the Biggers books or watching one of the movies or something like that that had the character Charlie Chan in them. Again, based on Apana Chang, trying to pitch a new show when bam, they said, wait, they already stole this from something else, aka someone's real life. Let's just steal it again for our cartoon, but make it our own. So they did. And that's how we got the Amazing Chan and the Chan clan. So, like I said, the show follows Charlie Chan, who is a Chinese American detective who travels the world solving crimes. Not totally sure who he works for, who hires him. I will speculate about that in this episode.
Yeah, okay.
Kind of like an international defense consultant, if you will. And he does all of this with his dog and 10 children. Yes, 10 children who all help him solve crimes. And the fandom page say that Charlie's either widowed or divorced. And the show just never says it.
No. Yeah.
But he's a single dad trying his best, trying to make money. It's always take your kids to work day in his life. So yes, Alexis, your thoughts on 10 kids and being a detective dad?
So many thoughts.
You can relate.
I know it's rough. It's rough. Let me tell you, Charlie doesn't have it easy. No, I have so much wild speculation too about his employer, the reason why his kids are always there. It'll just be something. We'll talk about it over the course of the 8 episodes. Yeah, I have just every episode I watch, I'm like, oh my God, this anyway.
Oh, I'm very excited to hear because I am lost in the sauce about what the hell's happening. So, as of writing this right now, I've only watched like 1 or 2 episodes, and thus far, I have to give a 1972 show credit for not being hella racist in a show starring a Chinese American family who are just out there trying to live their lives, solve some crimes, and play in a band, because obviously the Chan clan is the name of the band that the kids are in, like of any good 70s show with teenagers. So I'm gonna now describe all 10 children. They look like what the kind of like what their one-liners are on the fandom page and from my watching. As we go through these episodes, there's 10 kids to keep track of.
It's tough.
And in a new show that we're just getting to know, we will probably mix up which kid did what thing. Sometimes they just group together by age group. So sometimes I'll refer to like the kids, the middle schoolers, like the teenagers.
The teens,
the teens. It's confusing. So again, got Charlie Chan, the dad. He rocks this all blue suit, sometimes a fedora. He's very professional. He's got a nice mustache, and he's a little more on like the serious side, very professional, very wise. He's voiced, fun fact, by an actor who was in some of the Charlie Chan movies. Not as Charlie Chan, but as one of, he was just in the movies. So that was also just like a nice little like, oh, cool, good job. A callback. So we've got Henry, who is the oldest kid, probably like 17 or 18-ish. He's got brown bell bottoms, wears a very tight orange turtleneck, so you know he lifts. As the eldest, he's very clearly like the head of the pack. He can oftentimes get annoyed by like the younger kids' antics, but he kind of keeps everyone in line, or at least tries to. Then we've got Stanley Chan, who's the second oldest. I'm going from oldest to youngest here. He is the goofball of the group. He throws zingers. He loves to be a master of disguise. He's got a green V-neck sweater. He's got kind of longer hair. And as the second oldest, he often is paired up with Henry. They're the kind of two oldest, even though one's more serious, the other one's goofier. They kind of band together. So then we've got Susie, the third kid. She's like the mod 60s girly girl. She's kind of like the early Daphne of the group. Her whole personality, I think, is being proper and pretty in like the short dress and like her hair done with the flip. Also, now my dogs are wrestling in the background. It's fine. Sorry, listeners.
Doggos.
We won't be able to end the noises they make. Yes, one of my dogs, for viewers, fits the head of the other one in his mouth. Anyways,
you are
don't worry
correctly.
about it. Yeah. It's fine. So then we have Alan, the fourth kid. In my opinion, he is definitely the coolest. He's got shaggy hair, the giant round like 60s and 70s like bright pink glasses. He's like Maude meets Disco, as Disco was just getting picked up. He's got bell bottoms. He's got the flowy shirt, I'm pretty sure, with the vest and like purple heeled boots. He's fabulous. He is like the tinkerer and like inventor of the gang. He created the Chan van, which is like their Transformers-esque mystery machine. He is voiced by Brian Tochi, who was Leonardo in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in the 90s. So they have an incredible cast of characters, of voice actors.
Yes.
Not the least of which voices Anne Chan, who's the fifth kid. Yeah, I knew you would have looked this one up.
Yeah.
So, we're going to build up to it. So she's like a tomboy. She's always proving she can do anything the boys do. She's got like the loose baseball team baseball cap. And Anne was voiced by the one and only Jodie fucking Foster. Like,
it's the funniest thing. I don't know. It's like fun fact of the day. Hey, Jodie Foster voiced Anne Chan in the amazing in the Chan clan.
On like one side of things, we should acknowledge that like there's a pretty even split of like white people voicing them and then actual people of Asian descent, which is nice. But I also want to wildly speculate that did 1972 Jodie Foster get inspired by solving crimes to the point that she agreed to star in Silence of the Lambs 19 years later? Maybe.
No. And that tough girl persona, she can stick it up. She can stand a serial killer. Carnivore,
exactly.
Murderous serial killer.
I both haven't seen or looked up any statements by Jodie Foster saying she wasn't inspired by this role in 1972 when she was Anne Chan in The Amazing Chan and the Chan Clan.
Breaking news. You heard it here, folks.
You heard it here.
Jodie Foster would not be where she is today had she not voiced Anne Chan in The Amazing Chan and the Chan Clan.
In 1871, when Apana Chang was born, he had no idea that one day he would lead to Silence of the Lambs.
Without Apana Chang, Silence of the Lambs, the whole Hannibal universe would never exist.
Never exist.
Yeah, welcome.
Jodie Foster, you wouldn't have even heard of her.
Never.
If not for this. That's the biggest.
Anthony Hopkins, never heard of him.
Who? Never heard of him. So then we've got Tom, who's the sixth kid. He's the total dweeb. He's got the square glasses, the sweater vest. He's got the nasally voice and uses very big words that no one can understand. Flip Chan is the seventh kid who clearly just wants to impress his dad and his siblings. I know.
And you're not done.
Exactly. That's why I was like, this intro takes forever because there's 10 fucking kids to get through. He's always like right in the middle of the mystery, but he easily jumps or flips to conclusions, if you will. Classic. He's got a neon green polo and a red cap. We've got then Nancy Chan, who's the 8th kid. She's got a high pony with a purple polo that matches her purple bow. Thus far in my viewing, I think they just needed another kid to make the 8th kid. I don't really know what her deal is yet, but the fandom page, the like Wikipedia, there's like Wikipedia fandoms essentially for like every show in the universe. They also clearly agree that she's just like the throwaway kid, I guess, because their description of her is poor Nancy. Slightly chunky and really clumsy.
You know,
harsh.
It's harsh, but I gotta say that checks out the episodes that I've watched so far.
Yeah.
She's always eating and breaking shit.
Yeah, so, it's very accurate, but it's harsh. It's a harsh,
but it is
harsh reality.
They're like, damn, we don't know what to do. We still have 2 other kids after this one, but they're like toddlers. These middle kids. Anyway,
so then we've got Mimi Chan, who's the 9th kid, and she gives off the like I'm a little angel vibe. She's got like little pink bows and frilly outfits, but she's for sure like the bossiest kid, since she's like towards the bottom rung, and she always just bosses around her little brother, who is the youngest. Finally, we've arrived at the 10th child, Scooter Chan. He is 6 years old. He's got like a cute little bowl cut and wears a red sweater and hates being bossed around by his older sister, Mimi, who always says he can't do things because he's too little, but he's really ambitious. He wants to get right in the thick of things and often does. He's just a precious little kid. But wait, just when you think, oh my God, she's told me about now 11 characters, one more to get through here, which is Choo Choo Chan, which is their little mutt dog, who's kind of like it's a combination, I think, of like, just like to give you a picture. He's a combination of 4 things. He's like a little Yorkie, a little cat, pig pen from the Peanuts, and a mop. Okay. What this dog looks like.
And somehow 1 + 2 + 3 + 4 equals dog.
Equals Choo Choo Chan. The dog.
He's described as a dog, but yeah, that's the only thing about him that seems like a dog is the fact that Wikipedia says he's a dog.
Yeah, at first I actually thought he was a cat, and then they called him a dog, and then I was like, is this a dog who got electrocuted? And then I was like, oh no, he's just a combination of these 4 things.
Mop.
So yeah, and a mop. So Choo Choo, he's just a curious little mop dog,
animal,
electrocuted mop, but
pet.
Animal, pet. Thank you.
Who
likes like the kids to get into little shenanigans and is some comedic relief. So, okay, that was obviously a lot. This is a huge cast.
Ooh, all right, everyone, stretch and
I know, truly take a coffee break, go listen, relieve your mind from that information with some whisper scatting. What if we whisper scatted our the entire episodes?
So
like ASMR almost.
Isn't it weird? It's very off-putting. I don't even like doing it. It makes me feel gross. But can I too just say, even though so I don't know if it's good or bad that they give this guy 10 kids. I feel like that could be kind of like a diss on any culture, honestly. Like, but I will say it's very nice that they gave each kid like very distinctive, like features and like haircuts and outfits and stuff and characteristics in general. Just another like nod and thumbs up to
I agree.
Like for 1972, right? 72?
Yeah, 72.
Yeah. Like good on them. Good
Yeah.
on them. And
I
none of
think
them
that's
are like what you would call like, oh, that's a stereotypical or like an offensive like Asian,
yeah.
depicting character. It's like, no, they're all
Yeah,
just
I
like normal
agree.
kids doing just like totally normal things where, yeah. So it's like very, very good job. Like, what
Yeah.
happened? Why
Right.
why didn't this continue on? Imagine where we would be as a country
It's
if every
probably
show
because they did
followed
a
the
good
amazing
job
Chan.
being like,
Yeah.
they're first and foremost 10 teenage kids who are solving crimes with their actual professional detective dad, who also just happened to be Chinese American, not the other
Yeah,
way around.
exactly. Like you could input any race of a family into this show and like it
Yeah.
would be the same. They were just like, yeah, these are just normal people. It's like,
Yeah, I think
thank
that's
you.
a great point and call out, and is probably exactly
Yeah.
why in 1972 it didn't get a second season, because they did a
Yeah.
good job. And America was like, wait a second,
What is this?
what? We need more
Yeah.
racism in our cartoons, damn it.
Right.
It's for our children. Think of the kids.
Think of the children.
So,
Anyways.
on to our actual episode here.
Yes.
And like any good cartoon of the 20th century, I wish I was joking, because I always start off with the first episodes. But like I've said before, every good cartoon starts out, mystery cartoon, first episode in the goddamn city museum.
Yeah. Such a good entry point. It's such a good entry point.
Yes, it literally starts in the city museum of whatever freaking town they're in. I don't know. So,
oh boy.
My favorite setup for a show, obviously. And again, going to my own personal theory of art thieving was ingrained in me, as that would be crazy and must happen all the time, because every show told me that it did.
Exactly.
So, anyways, we start out on a preview night of the new exhibition that's opening to the public to the next day. And it's a private showing, probably for like investor or like, I guess, donors to the museum, of the Burmese crown jewels. And these jewels are displayed in this like kind of like flat, giant like display case, not giant, I guess like large display case, where it's covered in glass and you're kind of looking down upon all of the jewels. It's got diamonds, it's got gold, it's got rare gems.
All the
it's
razzle dazzle.
Sparkly, exactly. Razzle freaking dazzle, the usual. And we learn that the Chan clan, the family, is there on this preview night, specifically because they helped arrange the security arrangements for the jewels. So we've got them. They kind of were like the, I guess, like the architects to how to protect these jewels. But we also have the security officer there, Johnson, who is just on duty for the night, ready to be of help. We have the museum curator, who sounds like Igor the entire time. He doesn't look like Igor at all. He just looks like a little nerdy, but he's like, yes, perfect. The jewels are here. I can't do Igor, actually. How do you do a Transylvania accent? The jewels. I'm just... I don't fucking know how to do it. Erase all of that. I don't know what it is, but he sounds like Igor, okay? We'll bleep it out.
Yeah. This whole part's also just going to be bleeped. Half of this episode is just a long beat.
Yeah, exactly. So, yes, we've got the curator who, after he shows off the exhibition to all the donors, he like sees everyone out and says goodnight. And then all that's left in the museum with Johnson, the Chans, and the curator is the collection's owner, who is Lord Buckley from England. He's obviously there. He wanted to be there for the preview night. This makes sense. He wanted to ensure his collection is well taken care of. And, in talking about stereotypes, which ones are and aren't okay, like every good depiction of a British man in the 70s, he's got a bowler, he's got a cane. I loved it. A proper British lord.
Right.
So I was here for it. I was like, yes.
I hope he had a high-pitched accent. Nasally.
I can't remember because I was so taken aback by the Igor accent that I can't do. Yes. So again, the rest of the guests all leave, say goodnight. And Lord Buckley wants one more assurance that his jewels will be kept safe. It's opening to the public tomorrow. It's a lot of his fucking money in there.
Mm-hmm.
And so the curator, Johnson, the security guard, and Charlie Chan all kind of laugh at the comment, and they show off. They're like, no, take one more look at our security arrangements. This is what Charlie Chan set up. That basically the curator turns a key to like the on switch, which then sets off or like turns on like a motion detector system. And when the motion detectors go off, an alarm goes off, which it'll notify Johnson, but then it triggers a mechanism that like slams down metal bars pumping with electricity all around.
You said Charlie set this up, right? Yeah.
This must what happened to Choo Choo, I bet, is that he got too close to one of the electrocution.
Actually, like, set it down when Choo Choo was on the thing they were trying to protect.
Exactly.
Right. Wow, this adds to my wild speculation about Charlie Chan.
Oh, okay. I'm very excited. So, yes. So Charlie Chan, not fucking around. He was clearly hired for a reason. So they're like, see, we got it. And they, turn it off, like take one more look at the jewels and stuff. Little Choo Choo is like, jumping up on the like display case, being like, what's in here? Like, what's going on? Because he kind of is allowed to come out now. All the guests are gone. And again, he's just a cute our little mop dog is like sniffing around. Yeah. Mop pet. Our mop.
Our pet mop.
Our pet mop. I mean, it was the 70s. They had pet rocks.
True.
Back in the day. Chia pets.
It was
a wild time.
It's all the same thing, right?
Yeah, exactly. So as all this is happening and the guests are gone, the Chan kids are still waiting around for their dad to be done, talking business and security with the other adults. So Henry and Stanley, again, the oldest, are strolling through the museum when they pass a phone booth and actually see that someone is still inside it. And they thought all the guests left. And they overhear this man saying, everything's right on schedule. I'll knock this job off in 15 minutes. You be at the side door and I'll let you in. So immediately, these two oldest boys clock this as suspicious as fuck and plan to follow this dude. But at the same time, Mimi realizes that Choo Choo, again, little Doge who is sniffing around, Mop Doge, he has run off. They don't know where he went. He was sniffing the display case. And then he just ran off somewhere. So they're like, God damn it, we got a dog loose in the museum. Like, fuck, okay, we got to go find Choo Choo. So the rest of the Chan kids, Johnson, the curator, and Lord Buckley, all split up to just like go grab him throughout somewhere in the museum. Luckily, one of them, who knows which child, I think it's actually Mimi. She's like carrying him around, and he's like he's like the same size as her. It's actually pretty cute. But they're able to find Choo Choo, and they all regather in the main gallery. However, Charlie Chan points out, well, the dog's no longer missing, but the crown jewels are.
Aww.
You hate to see it happen.
Dang.
Yes. In that
what
time.
What a mix-up.
I know, what a conundrum. What a goof 'em up. So Choo Choo again was found and the jewels were stolen. So Choo Choo immediately runs back to the display case and like jumps on it again and starts sniffing around. He's on the job immediately. This smart little pup.
Good boy.
Yes, a good boy on the hunt for the thief. Stanley, again, second oldest with the zingers, says what I believe is his catchphrase, wham, bam, we're in a jam. Says it every episode, at least so far. So immediately, Lord Buckley is understandably really fucking pissed off. Like, he just said he was worried about his jewels, and then they immediately
you said
stolen.
No. Yeah. You said everything was fine. It literally took 5 minutes.
5 minutes.
Not even, maybe.
Yeah, and gone. Lord Buckley is yelling at the curator about this. And then horribly, starts blaming immediately just the security officer, Johnson, who's like stumbling over his words at this accusation. Johnson's denying it. Flip, who again wants to be in the middle of things, wants to impress everyone, is like getting in the security officer's face and is like poking him, is like, you'll need a better alibi than that. And so Flip is also accusing him and is saying that he must have passed the jewels to some accomplice. And Henry and Stanley, the oldest, overhear all of this, and they're like, oh shit, the guy from the phone booth who kind of like disappeared from our view, I bet that was the accomplice. Let's go find him. So the curator calls the police, which I think that, again, yeah, it means the Chans are like a hired special security force. We can talk about it in your episode, because mine again is gonna be real long because all this introduction stuff. So not official law enforcement, but the police are on the way. But so the whole family immediately splits and decides to start doing some like pre-detective work, I guess, not securing the crime scene. So Henry and Stanley are walking through the museum, trying to find the guy from the phone booth. And they were walking through like a Ice Age exhibit full of cavemen, which shout out to the Cincinnati Museum because they totally had one of those. And it was my favorite exhibit in the world. But one of the cavemen suddenly starts moving and grabs Stanley by the mouth and like lifts him up by the mouth and like neck. Unclear if he's trying to strangle him. Either way, Stanley is able to wiggle out. Yeah, he is a string bean kind of guy. Yeah, yes, full-on assault, attempted murder of a child.
Perhaps.
Yes, perhaps. But they chase each other through the museum until Stanley is able to shake his pursuer and meets back up with Henry through the ChanCom, which is, they've got really cool tech, I will say. It's like walkie-talkie watches that all the kids have with each other.
Yeah.
We love it. So meanwhile, the youngest, Scooter and Mimi, are with Choo Choo, just in the outside grounds of the museum with a flashlight, crawling around in the bushes. No one was like, we should keep the smallest children inside. They were like, y'all take the outside. Oh, there's a thief on the loose. You got it.
You guys get the perimeter.
Yeah, take the dog with you. Take Mop Dog with you. It'll be fine. So yes, they are
like
crawling
the
through
oldest one outside is like 9.
No, 6 and 7. They're literal children. Oh my God. So yes, their theory is that maybe the thief like tossed the jewels outside to come back for later, or they might find just a clue, which they do find a set of footprints. And you know what? It was smart of them to send these literal children out there, because this little genius 6-year-old Scooter whips out supplies to make a plaster cast of the footprints to eventually match with the thief. Yeah, he like starts pouring like the plaster, but it immediately falls apart because Choo Choo just walks through the plaster molds and ruins the evidence. Luckily, though, I guess the cops do arrive, and Lord Buckley, Charlie Chan, and I think like Johnson are explaining there was no witnesses because everyone was looking for Choo Choo, which the cops are like, well, that's pretty fucking unhelpful. Like,
that's super unfortunate.
Thanks. Which they do blatantly say, like, this is unhelpful. But Charlie Chan says, oh no, Choo Choo, it turns out, is very helpful. So helpful, in fact, that I now know where the jewels are.
Oh.
Which the cops are probably like, that's suspicious.
Yeah. Did Choo Choo steal them for you?
Yeah. Are you admitting to this right now? But that moment gets interrupted as the curator runs out of his office into the exhibit, waving a note that he just found. And he passes it directly to the cop, and everyone reads the note, which says, if you want the jewels back, keep the police away, which too late, and have $100,000 ready to pay off tonight. So Charlie Chan says, you got to pay this ransom, which they're like, didn't you just say you knew where the jewels were? We don't want to do this. But Charlie Chan is like, well, I know where the jewels are, but I don't know who took them. So the money should be the bait to get the thief in here, or wherever we're going to do this exchange. And the cops are like, you want to do the ransom exchange? Thanks. So I guess he's for hire for anything. Like, I don't know why an officer isn't going to do the ransom exchange.
They're essentially just like, let us know when someone needs to be arrested. Like, we don't have the resources to do all of the, like, you do. I mean, in reality, they definitely do. They're like, we don't give a fuck about this, like, museum, like, whatever. This is Lord whatever's problem. Like, just tell us when someone needs to be arrested. We'll come back.
I mean, that's literally correct, because they were like, who are the witnesses and evidence you found? Oh, none? Yeah. That's unhelpful.
It's all adding up. Like, he's a known detective. I think like every law enforcement agency knows, like, oh shit, Charlie Chan's here. Like, let him take over. Just tell us when someone's got to get booked.
They didn't even question, like, okay, cool, you're gonna do the ransom. Thanks. So smartly, Charlie Chan brings all the kids home. Instead of just being like, let's go on this ransom hunt, he's like, we're going home. You kids need to like have your dinner and do your homework.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, exactly. They are children. But as they're home, they're playing in their band, playing some catchy late 60s tunes. But Lord Buckley comes to the house to meet up with Charlie Chan and inform him that they received another message, this time directly to Lord Buckley, that the money needs to be dropped off at 8 p.m. by the old oak tree in the park. And again, it reminds them not to tell anyone about it, especially the authorities. So, as a hilarious side note, the conversation is like happening like in the office or like just some room in the household while the kids were sitting down to dinner. And Susie, who again is like the proper pretty girl, is like, well, we all have better manners than to eavesdrop on that private adult conversation, as she's like eating her food. And then she looks up and every single kid has like a cup to the wall and like stethoscopes and is like trying to listen in. And she's like, ah. So very funny. These kids. Charlie tells the kids to stay home. I'm gonna hit the road with Lord Buckley. But Tom Chan, who's the nerdy one, he's sus of this situation. And so he goes to his bookshelf and apparently has a book that's like a comprehensive list of all English lords and like royalty. And he's like flipping through it and he goes, aha, just as I thought. There is no Lord Buckley. He is an imposter.
Which, okay, good. Shit. Good
I
that you found that. But I'm still stuck on the fact that he has this book. Where do you even get that?
Like
I thought it was something that you only had like if you were for lords, though.
Yeah.
I thought that was something you only had if you were like a lord. Maybe he stole it from Lord Buckley.
He for sure did. Or or on like some other mystery, I guess maybe when they were in England he picked one up. It's
one of the other
unclear.
lords that hired Charlie Chan for some other mystery.
Exactly.
This will be helpful in the future.
They won't miss this. A giant yellow page was like
they're like dragging it out.
Like attaches it to Choo to drag. So they all freak out at this information, as you would, worrying and realizing that their dad is in trouble because he's with an imposter. But Henry and Stanley, again, the two oldest, are like, y'all, dad probably already knows this is probably a very elaborate setup. You guys need to all stay home. And like, we can't ruin dad's sting operation. And literally every kid agrees. But we also see that literally every kid is crossing their fingers behind their back. So that leads to separately, they all head to the oak tree to set up their own traps for the thief. So, of course, like any good cartoon mystery detective show, shenanigans ensue in which like each group, they often split up of like the three youngest, the like middle schoolers, and again like the eldest teens. It's like Henry and Stanley, middle schooler, younger teens, and then like the couple, maybe like four youngest. Again, there's so many kids to keep track of. So again,
usually groups of three, though. Somehow they're split up in three groups.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's just leave it at that.
It's unclear
all
what
10
the math is.
This brood.
Yes, this is brood. Exactly. So, yes, they all basically all fall into each other's traps. They all collectively realize that they all lied to each other about not going. They're like, what are you doing here? What are you doing here? Let me out of this trap. Help, I'm stuck in this hole. Oh my God, it's you, et cetera, et cetera. So and they all get each other out.
Oh my God, I'm dying. Oh, hey, what are you not doing in bed?
Wait a second, you're not the one who should be dying. It should be someone else. The thief. What are you doing here, Dad?
Mimi.
Scooter. So
like the 4-year-old. Like at the bottom of a pit.
There was a pit. You are correct. Oh. I think it was the youngest ones who fell into it because they were too short to get out. So
terrifying.
You're like going for a jog in this park and you just look and there's like 4 middle schoolers in a cage because that was one of them. There's 2 children in a pit. I don't know what happened to the other ones, but yeah.
Like hanging from a tree like by their ankles or something.
Little rope trick, probably, honestly. Yeah. Didn't write it down, but yes, most likely.
Here? Just
keep running, keep running.
Keep going. Yeah. Keep going.
If I don't say anything, I'm not involved. I'm not an accomplice to this.
Right.
So,
oh shit, those are Charlie Chan's kids.
Book out of here.
Get out of here.
Starts running faster. They get a PR. Get me out. So Henry is starting to lecture them all, even though he also totally lied and showed up and set a trap and all of that stuff. But like they're so used to the oldest brother's like lectures that one of them may have been Nancy, is like clearly not listening and is just like, oh my God, we skipped dessert after dinner. Wait, but there's an ice cream truck over there. Like, let's just go get dessert. So I guess leaning into that comment about Nancy, slightly chunky and really clumsy.
Yeah. She didn't hear a word they said.
No. She literally was like, what about dessert? Oh my God, there's an ice cream truck. And there
can relate.
An ice cream truck.
Can relate. I think all of us, a lot of us have a little bit of Nancy, if not
we're all
mostly Nancy.
Chunky and pretty clumsy. And I also want dessert. So
I also, ice cream.
Exactly. What were you saying? Oh, it's not important.
It's all right.
So that's literally what's happening. They're all about to go get some ice cream, but they hear a car pulling up. And so they're like, oh shit, this is probably the thief coming to get the money. And so they all hide behind the bushes. I should have also said that the briefcase with the money was already under the oak tree. Like Charlie Chan had already gotten there and dropped the briefcase. And indeed a car did pull up and it's a taxi with a cloaked figure comes out, or like I guess like a trench coated figure, like you can't really see anything, a low hat, walks out, waltzes right up to the briefcase, and from the kids' angle, like they can't really see what he does exactly, just like from what bushes they jumped behind. They're kind of behind the tree, but then they see the figure go back into the taxi, briefcase in hand, and drive away. And then seconds later, they see their dad come out in another car, like where he was parked somewhere and hiding, and chase the taxi out of the park. And just as they're like, whew, we should have known, Dad's got it, one of them gasps when they're like, oh, fuck, actually, Dad just got set up and he's in a trap, because behind the tree, they see another cloaked figure in the exact same long coat and low hat step out, also holding a briefcase. And they're like, wait, what the fuck? We just saw someone get in the car with the briefcase. Who's this with the briefcase? And then he rips off the hat and coat to reveal an ice cream man.
What?
Or at least someone in an ice cream uniform with like an ice cream man's hat on, so a hat underneath the hat.
Like a CIA sting operation.
On like big glasses. There's a lot of outfit changes in this episode. And then he runs into the ice cream van and drives off.
I'm assuming the same ice cream van that Nancy saw.
Same ice cream van Nancy saw.
Okay, I was like, there's this town just riddled with ice cream vans at night.
Nope, this was the same one. jumps in, drives off, and the kids all hop on their bikes and scooters and follow him to the museum.
No Chan van?
No Chan van. Well, Henry and Stanley originally took it there, but they don't take it to the museum.
Okay.
I guess it's too obvious.
Sure.
They said they want to be a gang of kids loudly on scooters and bikes in the street instead of just a car that could be in disguise. Anyways, they're children.
Or threatening.
Yeah. Yes. By the way, as a total side note, in the park shenanigans, Choo Choo runs into a undescript brown Great Dane.
Oh.
Who looks at Choo Choo and was like, huh? And then Choo Choo growls at the Great Dane, and the Great Dane's like, woo! And runs away, which I guess is a big finger to Scooby-Doo.
Yeah.
Because it looks just like Scooby-Doo, just with no spots.
With no spots, and obviously no collar.
Yeah, exactly. So it was very funny. I was like, wow, okay. Tell us how you really feel.
Right, cool.
Yes.
Well, so wait, is that them saying Choo Choo's better than Scooby-Doo?
I think so. I think they're being Choo Choo's gonna fuck you up. Choo Choo is very clearly like a street dog who's seen some shit.
Yeah, I was gonna say, no, that I agree with. Choo Choo would definitely beat Scooby-Doo up in a fight. But
for
I think Scooby-Doo's
sure.
maybe the better all-around pet because we know what he is.
Yeah, exactly.
It's got to be easier to take to the vet. Like, oh, what kind of animal do you have here? If you're like the Chans,
yeah, are they like at an exotic animal pet? Are they at like I don't know, like the appliance store for a new mop? Like unclear. So, the kids indeed go into the museum, and there is indeed the ice cream man who has the briefcase, which is interesting that he went back to the museum. So keep that in mind. But he realizes, obviously, because I pictured that when they all got to the museum door, all of these kids like just had to like drop their scooters and bikes. So like even if they were being quiet, all of a sudden the ice cream man just heard like a of like scooters and bikes
and like the door opening like 10 times.
Exactly. I was like, scooters and bikes just get thrown to the side. So they're not the most subtle gang of 10 children.
Okay, why they didn't take the Chan van?
Unclear.
Okay, never mind. Go ahead.
They start to chase him down because they're like, we got to corner this guy. We know he's got the briefcase. Dad is off chasing a red herring. Like he clearly came back to the museum. He's up to no good. They luckily are able to chase him into the dinosaur exhibit. And basically, like in all good cartoons, don't care about special items. Yeah, history. They like, pull the legs out from underneath or something like that, so that the brontosaurus rib cage falls down on the ice cream man and basically enclose him like a set of jail bar or a jail cell. So just then their dad walks in, who like knew that they were going there. He realized the other one was a red herring, comes back. The kids are like, wait.
Okay, sorry, no, keep going. Never mind.
Are you asking how he knew he was set up with the red herring?
Well, yeah, yes. No, more so how he knew the guy would go back to the museum. And then I guess also assume that the kids would trap him, or that he would somehow get trapped there.
I would say that the dad didn't know the kids would trap him there. But
okay,
Charlie knew he'd go back because remember, Charlie knows where the jewels are.
Yeah.
So he perhaps went back to where the jewels are. So maybe somewhere in the museum. But anyways, the kids are like, Dad, we did it. We caught him. And Bird, who do you think is the ice cream man? Would you like me to run through the characters?
Yeah.
Okay, we've got an ice cream man.
Cool.
We've got Lord Buckley. We've got Igor, museum curator. We've got security officer Johnson. We've got the Chan clan.
You don't have to go through all them.
We have 3-hour episode.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's like the security guy Igor, and that's not even really his name, and the security guy is also not his name, and Lord Buckley are the main. I guess so he went back to I'm gonna guess the curator.
So the kids are like, Dad, we did it. We caught Lord Buckley. And Charlie Chan is like, it's not Lord Buckley. See, Buckley isn't who he says he is. And with that, Buckley walks out from behind I don't know, another fucking room of the museum, as Charlie Chan says, Lord Buckley's actually from Scotland Yard. So I guess they're fucking spy buddies.
Was that MI6?
Yeah. So I hope this is helping your theory.
It is.
With Charlie Chan right now, that yes, Lord Buckley is with Scotland Yard / MI6, and was indeed there for this larger sting operation, apparently.
Go ahead.
They knew the jewels would try and be stolen, because then Charlie rightfully points out, indeed, who it actually is. And you're both correct. It's the curator.
Okay.
Yep. And the curator then rips off his ice cream man uniform to reveal himself.
He wore one costume already. I guess he could wear another
layers upon layers.
He's got like 5 masks on at a time.
And so he says basically, like, y'all aren't going to get the jewels back unless you let me go. But Charlie is like, I've already told you I know where the jewels are. I just need you to incriminate yourself first, which you just did. So Charlie Chan walks back to the display cabinet, and the kids are like, yeah, Dad, we know the jewels are gone. What are we doing here? And he was like, and they're like, Dad, there are no clues here. And Charlie says, exactly. There are no clues. Isn't that hella suspicious? There was no broken glass or nothing.
Right.
So on the display cabinet, Charlie like reaches down basically below it. So there's a tiny button that like blends in with the cabinet, and Charlie pushes it. And in that moment, the shelves of the display cabinet descend and are replaced with shelves that have all of the jewels on them.
Oh.
And then Charlie hits it again, and the jeweled shelves go beneath, and the blank shelves come back up.
Oh, so they were there the whole time.
They were there the whole time. And okay. Charlie explains it was the lack of clues and the cleanliness of the job that was obviously suspicious as hell. Yeah. And
he's like, no one could get around my trap that I set.
Did you
fuck that? No.
The electrocuted metal bars. Yeah. Oh, he knew it was an inside job from the get-go.
Yeah, he's like, I get the best of the best from my government contractors.
Yeah, exactly. I don't get Scotland Yard and MI6 involved for nothing.
Right.
And so he also explains that, if you remember, he said that Choo Choo was indeed very helpful. And it's actually because of Choo Choo that Charlie Chan was also able to figure this out. Because when Choo Choo jumped up on the cabinet, when the jewels were in the display case, his nose reached the shelves. But on the blank display case, his nose was beneath the shelves. Thus, it indicated something with the shelving changed in between jewels, no jewels, jewels, no jewels. And he solved at the end.
Cool. Okay. Wow. Great job. And what a mystery. What a great, wow. The writers took us on a journey there.
Most art thieving cases are indeed inside jobs from the museum. So it makes sense, Igor.
They knew it back then. It still holds true today.
Igor,
I assume.
Did it?
No.
Yeah, I think it does.
Firsthand knowledge of this whatsoever.
I've never worked in a museum. Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it. What even is a museum? So
there you go.
Awesome. So yeah, I'm just gonna like say it now. Generally, the basis of my wild speculation about Mr. Chan is that he is this like he himself is a contractor, like not a mercenary, obviously, but like the equivalent for like private investigators and detectives, like known
Yes.
by all the wealthiest of the wealthiest in the country, and known by all
Yes.
the major like intelligence operations and like bureaus of investigation, the UN and shit just like hires him like on contract for jobs, but they let him bring his kids because they know that it always like is a ruse that gets the criminal off track or some shit, thinking that they're in the clear, but then nope, we gotcha, because the kids are always interfering in these investigations and making the criminal think like, oh yeah, I'll get away with this. Look, they're investigating these people over here or whatever. What's going on? And then boom, now Charlie gets them.
I do think that is correct. I did write down originally, like I think he's maybe like a PI, but like a PI plus type of thing. Because does do like security and stuff. And I think that makes sense with the kids, that like that's part of like the contract. Like when you hire
bring
him,
your kids,
it's like, would you like the kid edition or not kid edition? Like kid edition means more distraction, easier case type of thing. So
yeah, because no one is ever upset that the kids are there. Like everyone loves his kids, or like the law enforcement people.
Yeah, no one like blinks an eye.
No, they're like, oh yeah, the whole Chan family's here. Cool, let's solve this mystery.
Yeah, and at the same time, he's like, being a single dad is hard. A single parent household,
help me out.
What else to do with these kids? Yeah,
I mean, and to be fair, they like watch over themselves on all of these mysteries already.
Do with these kids? And it was the 70s, so they were probably like, he doesn't have a wife at home to take care of the children. This poor man.
Yeah,
he must bring them.
Which, I mean, true. Once you get past, like, I mean, 10 kids is a lot. I too would be like, oh my God, dude, you need a wife to help you take care.
Like, you need a village.
Or whatever. Yeah,
you've grown a village.
Yeah. So you need 10 villages.
I do like to think, though, that even though the, again, fandom page said that Charlie Chan's either widowed or divorced, I like to think that he's divorced and just like, this is like weekends custody with dad.
Oh no.
It's like always on these mystery cases.
Wait, yeah, I kind of like that better. Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's always on the clock though.
Yeah, exactly.
He's always on the clock. So even when they go on a trip, where did this episode take place? Was it like,
I have no idea.
Oh, just okay, damn. Somewhere. Well, weekend with dad. Hey, we're going to the museum. Secretly, dad's like, oh yeah, we're going to the museum.
We sure are. A very educational weekend.
That to the Chans, like that is what going to the museum is. They like hear their friends talk about going and like seeing an exhibit. They're like, oh, we thought that you went to museums to stop jewel thieves.
They like, one of them like has like a school field trip to the museum and immediately just like rips the dinosaur bones out because he's like, that's what you do,
right? He like finds the curator and like tries to rip his face off.
Yeah,
like, take off your mask.
And this is how museums go. That's what we did last time with dad. So yep, there we go. That's the first amazing Chan and the Chan clan episode.
Wonderful. Yes, can't wait to keep it going. I
think this will be a very fun arc. I'm very excited for it. And between now and next week, when you do your first episode, who should our listeners tell about this podcast?
I think this week you should find a teacher and tell them, because essentially, like, if you thought that wrangling the Chan clan was tough, imagine doing 2 times the Chan clan, like all day. So, essentially that's what teachers have to do. Find one of them, tell them. That's easy for us. A teacher. She's probably already watching. But hey girl. Yes. But thank them and tell them to listen to this podcast.
Yes, to help get them through it. Maybe also like donate some supplies to them because they have to pay for their own supplies oftentimes. And then shitty. After that, find a private investigator, find a PI. No, I'm not here to hire you. I'm here to make a recommendation for you.
Nice.
And if they're a good PI, they
already recommendation.
Yeah, podcast rec.
Not even like a lead on a job.
Get some good ideas for your business.
Nice.
Yeah, tell it PI, and till next week. Bye.
Bye. Thanks for tuning in to Saturday Morning Mysteries.
If you enjoyed this episode, please share, rate, review, leave us a like, and drop a comment. We post episodes every Saturday and bonus tune tangents whenever we feel like it. So please subscribe so you don't miss the shenanigans.
And if you want to follow us on YouTube, click the bell under the YouTube subscribe button to receive notifications when new videos are posted.
And if you want to subscribe to the podcast, we have no idea what you're listening to us on, so just hit the big subscribe button on whatever app you're using. We believe in you.
Give us a follow on Twitter and Instagram at SatmornMist, all the abreves, and let us know if you have any episode or show requests by emailing SaturdayMorningMysteries@gmail.com.
Thanks to Jenna Kendall for the logo design and to Ava Sakiki for the music used during this week's episode.
See y'all groovy kids next week on Saturday Morning Mysteries.